Hello friends, today we will discuss about bureaucracy. So let us start now. The term was first coined by Vincent de Gournay, a French economist in 1745 for criticizing government for insensitive rules and regulations that were hampering business activity. It meant government by desk. The term bureaucracy, according to F.M. Marx, was first used by French minister in 18th century to refer to the government in operation. In 19th century, this concept spread to Germany and other European countries, and later on in rest of the world. The classical writing on bureaucracy came from Karl Marx, Max Weber, Robert Mitchell, Gaetano Mosca, and Ramsey. Marx argued that bureaucracy arose with capitalism in Western Europe. The concentration of wealth and power in the hands of capitalists led to the need of an instrument for the management of wealth and the exercise of power. This instrument was the bureaucracy. Thus, according to Marx, the bureaucracy consists of officials who control the workers on behalf of capitalists. Its function is to get work out of the workers under the exploitative conditions of capitalism. Mosca described bureaucracy as one class of ruling elites whose rule is absolute. Mitchell expanded this concept of bureaucracy to include salaried professionals in government and non-governmental agencies such as political parties. He called bureaucracy as system of big organizations in which power is concentrated in the hands of few, that means oligarchs. According to him, this rules out the possibility of internal democracy in organizations. Writers like Ramsey viewed bureaucracy as permanent officials and professional administrators. However, it was Max Weber who gave the first scientific treatment to bureaucracy. He freed the term from pejorative connotations and emphasized the indispensability of it for the rational and efficient attainment of organizational goals. For Weber, bureaucracy is not merely civil services, rather it is sociological concept of rationalization of collective activity. For Weber, bureaucracy is an ideal type organization model vested with legal rational authority to coordinate and control the activities of many individuals in the pursuit of organizational goal. Its structural aspects consist of division of work, hierarchy, system of rules, and role specificity, and its behavioral aspects is characterized by rationality, impersonality, rule orientation, and neutrality. Thus, his name, that means Weber's name, became synonymous with bureaucracy. So what actually Weber has said about bureaucracy is that it is an ideal type of organizational model vested with rational legal authority. We have already covered these aspects in Weber's lecture. To coordinate and control the activities of many individuals in the pursuit of organizational goal. So bureaucracy has structural and behavioral aspects both. So its structural aspects consist of division of work or labor, hierarchy, system of impersonal rules, role specificity, and its behavioral aspects is characterized by rationality, impersonality, rule orientation, and neutrality. Now let us see the characteristics of bureaucracy. Work is organized in the form of offices and activities performed called official duties. Offices are organized in a hierarchy which acts as a chain of command and control in which decisions are taken at the top and flows down to the bottom based on information flows from bottom to top. Decisions are taken on the basis of abstract and general rational rules. Every decision is an act of interpreting the general rule in particular situation. Bureaucrats, that mean officials, work with an attitude of formalistic impersonality. So we have to remember this term, formalistic impersonality. The basis of recruitment is competence, competence and merit. Work is constituted as a full-time career with proper system of rewards and promotion. In time of crisis, it breaks down and another type of authority develops. Weber called it a charismatic authority. Weber argued that bureaucratization is inevitable as industrialization develops. According to him, bureaucracy is most efficient, most rational, superior to any other form, indispensable and permanent. According to Weber, the following factors are responsible for the rise of bureaucracy. What were the factors? Creation of money economy, emergence of capitalistic economy, growth of democratic institutions, emergence of complex administrative problems, development of modern means of communication, growth of rationalism, and growth of population. So all these factors are responsible for rise of bureaucracy according to Weber. But Weber saw the negative effect of bureaucracy. What were the negative effect? According to Weber, bureaucracy can stifle creativity, specialists without spirit, and bureaucratic organizations produce an iron cage that imprisons people. So bureaucracy produces an iron cage. Bureaucracy aligns with vested interest. We can witness it in Indian society also. Bureaucracy tends to be status quoist. In times of crisis, bureaucratic leadership will be ineffective as it is trained to follow orders and conduct routine operations rather than to make policy decisions and take initiative in response to crises. To Weber, the process of rationalization for which bureaucracy is the prime expression is basically irrational. It is ultimately aimless since it tends to destroy the traditional values that give meaning and purpose to life. Now, how to control the bureaucracy? According to Weber, what Weber has argued that the bureaucracy can be controlled by subordinating it to a political head. But the main challenge is that bureaucrats understand the system better than the politicians, and politicians lack the technical expertise. He believed that strong parliamentary control could state bureaucracy. Parliamentary committees needed which systematically cross-examine the parliamentary committees include experts also from outside. They can hire. So systematically cross-examine the civil servants. Therefore, it is said that Weber view of bureaucracy is ambivalent. Now, so here we have to focus on critical aspects but emphasize on the positive aspects of bureaucracy more. Why? We will see later. Now, critical evaluation of Weber's bureaucracy. Critics have argued that Weber's bureaucracy is concerned. Without mentioning the name of Weber, we can mention the point. So what can we say? Critics have argued that, what we have to write in the answer sheet, that Webers have argued that the bureaucracy is concerned too much on formal structure and neglecting the human dimension and suitable for only routine and repetitive jobs and not for the task involving creativity and innovation. R.K. Merton has questioned the rationality of bureaucracy. Adherence to rules results into rigidity, formalism, ritualism, trained incapacity, and dysfunctional consequences. Thorstein Veblen has argued that the bureaucratic model, due to its obsession with rules, engenders inability to cope with the changing conditions. It socializes the officials incapable of dealing with new things. He described this as trained incapacity. What Michel Crozier has said. Michel Crozier has described the bureaucracy as a rigid organization that cannot correct its behavior by learning from its error. Einstein has said that bureaucracy is the death of all sound work. Warren Bennis has predicted the death of bureaucracy due to its rigidity and insensitivity. He has argued that in future it will be replaced by adhocracy, which is characterized by adaptive, flexible, integrative, and spontaneous organizational behavior. Marx has argued that bureaucracy is an instrument in the hands of dominant class to exploit and oppress other social classes. Now let us see the relevance of bureaucracy in present day. In spite of criticism from several scholars, bureaucracy continues to be relevant for the present complex and very challenging administrative system. So far, we have not been able to evolve an effective alternative model to bureaucracy. Weber is right in saying that when we are accustomed to the bureaucracy, we cannot think of any other alternative. It is highly useful for managing large-scale organizations. The selection of officials based on qualifications, open competition, utility of written documents in administration, hierarchy, etc. can be seen in any administration of the present day. To overcome some of the problems of the bureaucracy, we can only bring reforms in it, but cannot replace it with any other organization. Whether it is capitalist society or socialist society, irrespective of the nature of the economy, we find the bureaucracy playing a very important role. The people who talk about the debureaucratization of the society have not been able to find a viable alternative to the bureaucracy. Even in the present context of liberalization and privatization, which emphasized on a minimalistic state, cannot escape the necessity of bureaucracy to perform some of the functions of state. We cannot think of implementation of all the welfare and developmental programs without the help of bureaucracy. The voluntary organizations and other forms of people organization can only supplement the bureaucracy, but they cannot substitute the bureaucracy. In the context of developing countries, people look to the bureaucracy for their day-to-day requirements. Hence, the bureaucracy of the Bavarian type continues to find its relevance even today. So it's all about bureaucracy. In next lecture, we will cover nation and state and citizenship. Okay, thank you very much.